All we're going to do is make one cast, and then we're going to make two casts, but we're not going to make anything together until we figured out how to make one cast. Then we're going to do this next cast. So first cast. So pretend like you're taking that, you're loading the rod, raise the rod tip, flick, and when I say flick, I'm exaggerating. Go like that. Go like that. And that flick to a stop. Now, if you don't, if you just go like this, that's what happens to your line. If you flick it, it lays out. Then I'm going to flick it back. And I'm going to flick it this way. And then I'm going to flick it that way. But watch it. Watch yourself do it. So go ahead and try that. Right? Okay. So after you practice your two casts, so you're going to make that back cast, forward cast, back cast, forward cast. And each time you're just going to let it hit the ground. When you start feeling comfortable, and again, watch yourself. And even when you try to raise it off the ground and keep it in the air, for a while, watch yourself. Now, let me show you something that makes a huge difference in your timing and your feel. See how much line I have out? Watch how fast my rod moves, because I don't have very much line out, right? And this is where you learn about timing, and some people just call it pausing. You know, flick to a stop, pause. But how do you know when to come back? You're going to learn how to feel that. But this is important. Watch the difference. I've got a little bit of line out. So see how fast my rod's moving? Tight loop, straight. My rod tip's straight. Well, look how fast it is. Okay, now watch this. Watch the difference in my, it's going to be slower. See that, how much slower it is? Because you have to wait. Okay, I'll even put a little more line out. See how much slower the rod is? Because I'm waiting for it. Okay, now I'm going to face like I'm casting. I can see it in the front, but I can't see it in the back, but I can feel it there and throw it. Okay, so in the beginning, don't put that kind of line out. Just see if you can, with the amount of line you have, just see if you can, again, don't forget the mechanics, flick it, watch it lay out. When it lays out, flick it back. See what happens to your line when you do that. So now, tight loops are all about a straight, your rod tip is going straight, and you've generated enough power to get a flick. So I'm going to exaggerate this without a rod for just a second. And there's another thing about learning to cast. Don't try to cast like this when you're learning. Cast like this. Face your line and watch your line. Learn how to watch your line, right? Now we'll spread out here in a second, but learn how to watch it. As you progress, where you're able to watch your line in front of you, start trying to change the angle of the line. In other words, can I throw, I'm going to throw one straight over my head and out. But straight over my head means that my rod angle, my straight line with my rod tip now looks like this. Remember, you guys have been casting like this. This has been your straight line. My straight line is now going to look something like this, because I'm going to cast it up and then out. And you're going to want to learn how to make, so it's going to be up and out. Up and out. Change your angles. Try it like this. Try it a little higher over here. Or, because you're fighting wind, for an example, try it off to the side, really low, like this. Right? Try it really low. When we talk about how to cast in the wind, One of the casts you want to learn to make, I love this cast, I do it all the time. I'm standing here, here's the brush. I need to make a cast right over there, but I'm right-handed. But here's the brush and here's the river. I want to cast up there. So, what do? I make a cast like this, over this shoulder, and like that. See that? Up and lay it out. Everything, all the mechanics are still the same. And by the way, don't fight with your rod and don't fight with your line. Let the rod and the line do what they're supposed to do. They're weighted. They're supposed to do this sort of thing. Don't fight so hard with it. Let it, once you learn the mechanics, let the rod and the line do its work. But try your straight line rod tip at different angles until you can start feeling all of that stuff happening the way it's supposed to happen. So like I said, casting isn't as picture perfect as some people want to make it with just your arm, just your wrist. I think it has a lot to do with your body size and just what's comfortable for you. So another way to think about this, and I like to do this a lot, is don't be afraid to use your body as you go forward and back. Use your body. Don't just try to do it all with your arm, because the more line you start to stretch out, that gets to be really hard with your arm. So use your body as leverage to throw it in those two directions. Go ahead and use your body. I like to make this analogy. If you spun a towel and you were going to flick someone with that towel, if you put a person there and a person there and you were going to flick them, that's exactly what casting is. So it's flick that one, flick that one, flick that one. In order to do that, two motions. Pull for loading the energy, throw it, flick to a stop. Pull, throw it, flick to a stop.